Hello loyal subjects, today we are here to talk about the second book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, Crown of Midnight. If you do not know what this series is about, I have done a review for the first book, Throne of Glass, where I explain the premise, so you can watch that to get an idea of the series. There's not a whole lot I can say about this book without spoiling you, so I'll just tell you that it was awesome. Throne of Glass was really good, but Crown of Midnight was really great. So if you have not read this book, go read it, then come back and we can discuss it, okay? Okay, goodbye. So Crown of Midnight. We start off the book with Selena doing these assassinations for the king, or pretending she's doing these assassinations, because really she's plotting against him kind of by letting these people go. This book was a lot darker than the first one, and darker than what I was expecting, morely because we get to see Selena as the assassin that she is. She's got this great side to her, and then she's got this really kind of malicious, dark side to her, and it was so cool seeing her in that state when she goes into these phases called the killing calm, and it's just everything else is blanked except getting her assassination done. When Kaol got captured by those guys and she went and she kicked some serious ass, that was awesome. That was such a good scene. And then again, after the whole Nehemia thing, and she attacks Kaol with the intent to kill him. And just so many times she has these great moments like that. I mean, I know a lot of people get weirded out, or they kind of get, you know, a little unnerved by this kind of bloodlust that characters get. I loved it because so many times you'll be reading a book and there'll be some villain or someone else that fucks some shit up, and you want the main character to just kill them slowly, make them pay for it, and they don't because they're so virtuous and good and they would never do something like that. Not Selena. She will go there. But of course Selena isn't the only person whose perspective we see through. It was very scary at the start. Every time we saw through Dorian's perspective, it was just him pining after Selena, and I was getting scared because he was turning into what I hate most in characters, which is a woe is me character. He was basically turning into Sandy from Grease. But now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. I'm out of my head, hopelessly devoted to you. Thank you, I'm going for the Oscar next year. Because when I saw through Dory's perspective, I wanted to see some court intrigue. And we finally got that after he decided to let her go, which I applauded, because while I do ship him and Selena and I want them to be together in the end, I want to see more through Dorian than just, oh, Selena's in love with Kaol now? What? That scene where he's in the court and they're talking about expanding the slave camp, and he gets pissed and he storms out after sassing his dad, and he punches the window and it shatters and the rock cracks and there's that icy circle around him and he's like, I have magic. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Because it's something that I've been wondering about Dorian for a while, because at the start of the first book he says how he looks nothing like his father and nobody knows where he got his blue eyes from, and it got me thinking, like, is he the king's bastard child with some sort of magical being or something? I'm not completely ruling out that option. But we do know that, oh, his father has magic, and so since he banished all magic except for his, by extension, Dory got to keep his magic as well. It's very cool. I was not expecting Dorian to have powers, and now he does, and I feel like he can be that much bigger of a player in this whole political war game we've got going on now that he has some powers to actually fight against people instead of just, you know, political awareness. You know what I'm saying? So, Chaol. I feel like this book was very much the Chaol and Celaena show, because after they just plow right into this relationship they've got going on. Like, we've got Chaol's birthday and the whole dinner thing there, and they just kind of go right into it, you know what I'm saying? I said a bang, bang, bangity bang. I said a bang, bang, bangity bang. Didn't see that one coming quite as well. I was so sure after reading the first one that Dorian and Celaena were endgame. But after reading this one, I'm not so sure. She's kind of thrown us into the deep end. I mean, it's only the second book. A lot can happen in 4 books. But, it just seems like this love was a lot more intense than that love. I still have hope, though. I still have hope. But of course, this whole, oh, Celaena can't trust Chaol thing is going to continue, at least until the next book. Because why would Chaol think, oh, there's a threat to Nehemia's life, I'm just going to keep that one to myself? Like, I get that he has this unwavering loyalty to the king, but we've seen what this guy can do. The king is an evil bitch. I don't know, I would have at least tipped off Nehemia to the fact that someone was trying to kill her. When Nehemia died, oh my god, I didn't believe it at first. I was like, Nehemia can't die. She's like Nehemia. But she did. And then Celaena kind of went into this spiraling vortex of anger and depression. I mean, we had that scene where the princess was talking to the ancient queen, but I was like, why, if we know who the person is, why wouldn't it just say it was Nehemia? So that got me thinking, what if this is that Aelin chick, you know, that Heir of Terrasen girl? What if she is the one that's talking to the queen, who I'm assuming is Elena? So that was really sad, especially since I didn't see it coming at all. So speaking of this whole Aelin situation, we've got Nehemia's group of like resistance rebels led by Archer that we've been dealing with throughout this book. I didn't trust Archer. I just thought Celaena keeps giving him these missions and names, and this guy seems like a bit of a weasel. So I didn't think he was the one to kill Nehemia, to get Grave to kill Nehemia. Also, that scene where Celaena hunts down Grave and like guts him in that alley, that was just... I liked that scene. But at the end, when Celaena's trying to talk to Nehemia's ghost from the dead and Archer shows up and we've got that whole showdown going on there, did not think that he would be the one that had killed her. So that was why I was so happy. She's like, I'm not gonna kill you because Nehemia believes in that light inside me. And so she lets him go. And then he says, I knew you were a good woman. And she just stops and she turns around and then she stabs him in the heart and is like, no, but Nehemia was. Oh, loved that moment, because I was like, don't let him go. He's just going to cause troubles for you in the next book. So glad that that bitch is off the list. Going back to this whole word key, word gates thing, as soon as we got that riddle, I was like, oh my god, those rings, those super evil friendship rings that the King and Perrington have, those are the word keys. I thought at first that the 3 rings were the 3 keys and that he had all of the keys already. But no, luckily they're just made up of the first key. I don't get why it took her so long to figure out that the first one was in Elena's crown. Like, it kind of explicitly states that it's in the crown. But getting back to this whole portal business, when Kale jumped in after Fleetfoot, I was like, you're going to risk your life for the dog. I mean, I love the dog and everything, but dude, you're gonna jump into some unknown parallel portal dimension thing for the dog? And then Selena jumped in after him and turned into a fae? And I'm like, what the shit? Because it's one thing to surprise Kale and your other companions like that, but it's another thing entirely to just keep that on the lockdown from the reader for 2 books straight. We knew that she had some sort of magical ability because of the whole symbol burning on her forehead and everything, but I didn't think she was a full-on fairy. So is she completely fairy, or is like she half fairy and that's why she can turn into a human? I don't understand, but to say that her great-grandmother was a fae and that's why she is a fae, like Kale was saying, like, that's some seriously diluted magical blood there. I think not. And then we've got this whole business of Selena being Aelin Galathenius, I think is how you say it. What the shit? The whole book she was going, they can't have contact with Aelin Galathenius. And I was like, how can she be so sure? And then, oh, she's sure because she is Aelin Galathenius. What the H? That was just like, plot twist, Selena is of royal blood. Okay, sure, let's go with that. So we end this book by the crew splitting up. Dorian is still gonna chill in the castle. Kale is going with his bitch dad to Aniel, and Selena is heading off to Wendlin with the Fae. I know for a fact that in Airfire she meets a Fae guy named Rowan. I've seen fan art of this, so I'm guessing that she's going to mingle with the fairies. She was sent there on this assassination quest. This has to be when she tries to start like this rebellion against the king, right? Right. So I'm not sure what my predictions are for the next book. Hopefully we can reunite the crew at some point. I just want everybody to do their part to try and take down the king. Dory has to master his magic skills. Kaol can try and maybe find one of the word keys in Aniel, and maybe Selena can form this alliance with the Fae and find the other word key in Wendlin. Hopefully, and then we can kickstart this revolution! Yeah, so that's all I have to say to you guys today. I will see you again next time. Goodbye.